Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
And a good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. We're live on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, YouTube, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. We're also wherever you can get your podcast. Today, Matt Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here. Boys, how are we doing?
Hey.
Big Cowboys win?
Well, I quit turning the TV on for Cowboys games about a month ago because it's not the Dallas Cowboys that are playing. It's like their third exhibition game roster that's playing.
Yeah, but they got the crazy win.
I did kind of see it on my phone and some crazy stuff.
As you
so
should.
I did turn it on for the last 4 minutes and saw some of the wildness. But
Hey.
What a crazy ending to that football game.
Not
It was
only
10-9 or something. Early in the fourth quarter and ends up with almost 60 points. That's crazy.
Not only is that team falling apart, the building is as well. They all had to.
Yeah.
For those that know, a piece of metal fell down last week.
That's scary. And it didn't look like a bad big chunk of metal. It's like this little thing that is tied up to the top as they're opening the roof, I think it was, right? And it floated down, but that thing hits you. Look out, man.
Well, anything Jerry Jones builds is certainly going to fall apart. I think.
Hey,
Ooh, that's two comments right there from the both of you back to back. Okay, you're going to watch Thanksgiving, though. It's Thanksgiving.
Nope.
Wow.
Not gonna do it.
Really?
Nope.
I love Thanksgiving.
American Thanksgiving. I mean, it's not the Dallas Cowboys. I mean,
So
it's my team, but
it's a Thursday at 2:30. You got to watch the Cowboys play. It's tradition. Even for us, it's tradition.
Normally, it's
Right?
tradition, but I'm not going to do it this week. I'm actually going to work instead of watch that game because it's just not
Yeah,
that
you just put it
interesting
on
to
the
me.
background or something.
Yeah.
You'll have it on the background. That's a great idea.
My
I'll
phone, my
we'll be
phone
here.
will give me little updates here and there, and it's I don't know. It's so disheartening, and that's the thing that happens in football when there's 17 games, when you get absolutely decimated by the injury bug like they did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your season's over. I mean, if you in the NHL you play 82 games, if you get crushed by the injury bug and you're missing guys for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's just such a small portion of the season you can battle through that. You can't battle through it in the NFL. When we were missing 8-9 starters for 4 weeks in a row, you're done. You cannot compete. You can't win.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible.
No, that's fair.
The Ravens had that a few years ago. I think they managed the playoffs, though. Or was it they just missed? There was one year they had a ridiculous amount of man games lost. It seemed like anytime they started running back, they got hurt. And they had to go find another running back. There were 6-7 running backs that season they played.
Well, but running back's a different position. I mean,
No, it was they had the most man games lost in the National Football League.
did?
But I
Okay.
think, just trying to remember if they made the playoffs or they just missed out. I don't know. It was a miraculous season where somehow they were still winning football games some ways. And I was as a free agent, I don't know how they're doing this.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be doing this if you have that many losses. So
it's
I
tough.
want to feel bad for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, nobody does.
But I can't, sorry.
It's hard.
Yeah, you don't need to apologize. I get it. You either love the Cowboys or you hate them. And if you're a hater, I get it. It's all good.
I think I could live with it if Jerry wasn't there.
Well, so could all of us.
I think that's what it would come down. When Jerry Jones is no longer, at the very least, the GM of the team, I think maybe my hate or dislike of the Cowboys might be able to go away, where I'll be to them.
Well, and a lot of people say to me, well, yeah, he's getting old. His son will take over soon. And I'm not sure that his son is any better.
As long as he doesn't take over as GM.
Well, I guess,
Hire a GM.
He kind of is, though.
He's
I mean, they
82.
kind of do it together, the father and son. I don't
See, and
know.
at least because it's Steven, I think.
Yeah.
Is Steven his son? At least Jerry played football. He was
Yeah.
Arkansas running back.
Yeah.
Pretty good, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a football background,
Yeah,
playing
for sure,
and stuff. But you're 82 now, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe hand over the reins.
Right. It kind of has a bit of that Al Davis, Mark Davis feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't trust that everything's going to be fine. With the Blackhawks, when old man Wirtz passed away,
That was
and
a good thing.
It was a good thing. His kids were way more with it,
Yes.
and business wise than he was, and the organization took a big turn for the better.
Yeah.
And of course, then all hell broke loose with the
scandal.
with the scandal and the Kyle Beach thing, and so it painted a negative light on it. But I mean, I don't know, that to me, too much blame on that went on the organization, and not enough blame went on the person that did it, because most people can't even remember his name.
Wow.
And the person that actually was abusing people should be the one that draws the ire of everybody, not the organization.
Brad Aldrich.
I mean,
Yeah.
Brad Aldrich, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, yes, people in the organization didn't do enough, but that's not right. I'm not
No, I know what you're
defending
saying.
what they're doing. I mean, but the person that did it is the one that everyone should really be upset with. Not, I don't know. It's tough.
Did you ever read? I read this book. It's called The Breakaway, and it's about the Blackhawks. I think a guy named Ryan Smith wrote it, and it talks about how the transition from Bill Wirtz to Rocky Wirtz and the family happened, and how it finally started things in the right direction, because Bill Wirtz was in bad shape. I think he had a stroke or something, and his demeanor changed, and his decision-making ability was hampered by it. And they talked about how the office at one point had like a fax machine that didn't work, and there was nobody in ticketing. It was so bad, no staff, that the PR guys for the team would have to pick up the main phone line for ticketing and stuff like that. And then they talked about how he brought in that was it John McDonough. And then obviously that didn't end well with the whole Kyle Beach situation, but it was a really good book, and it was talking about the transition from the old guard to the new guard. And there's still a few relics like Jerry Jones that kind of have their grasp on the team, if you will.
Yeah. We'll even go back to with the words. He wouldn't even want the games shown on TV, because if the games were shown on TV, he thought no one would come to the game.
Right.
Well, man, you need people to watch the team, get excited about the team. So I mean, his whole attitude was so backwards to what it needed to be. And so whatever, it's all in a much better place now. Although it's really hard to watch the Chicago Blackhawks games if you're in Chicago right now, because they started the Chicago Sports Network, the Bulls, the White Sox, and the Blackhawks. And the Bulls and Blackhawks are playing well into their season right now. And they just got an app going where you can watch it through an app. Otherwise, you need an antenna to watch any of the games. I mean, they're in a backwards position right now, again, with TV, but I'm sure they'll get there.
It's free over the air?
It's not free. The app that they developed is not free. It's $19.99 a month.
Oh, but like if you're in the city, you're saying it's the antenna.
Yeah, you need an antenna to watch the Chicago Sports Network. I don't know.
So is it free then?
I'm not
in the market.
We had Kaylee Chelios on before a Hawks game. She's on Chicago Sports Network. I didn't ask her what it was, because it used to be that NBC Sports Chicago. There's NBC Sports Philly.
Yeah.
Those are like dissipating, and then the whole Bally's thing, that's gone.
It's internet protocol television.
Yeah. It's all going digital.
It's the way
This network's distributed by multiple platforms, including via subchannels of broadcast television stations within its so you can get it through regular TV, but then there's also the streaming.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
It's going digital. How about that?
Yeah, who does something like that? Though it's just absolutely the way of the future. I mean, look what's gone on with EST, right?
Yes.
But their timing of it has been horrendous, and the way that they've rolled it all out has been absolutely horrendous. I don't know why they've screwed that up so bad.
Oh no, they do have over the air. They announced in September that they have over the air coverage in the Chicago market through 2 channel leases. So that means you do need just, I think, an HD antenna, and you get it for free.
But who has an antenna?
They're actually not that bad. I have one at home. I was actually just playing with it this weekend to see if I can get it working in my place, and I couldn't. They're not as cheap as they used to be, the bunny ears, but they're still you could get still HD TV for free in this country with the HD antenna. The CBCs and CTV and the Globals, with the bunny ears, it's still that way. But I'm fascinated because there's the different ways of going about things, because I think Golden Knights are on free television.
Yep.
The Coyotes moved to free television before they moved to Utah.
Yeah.
There's a different transition of things. Some people are going full pay-per-view, or subscription services, all of that. And some are going back to the old school way of going back on just free television.
Yeah.
And I'm very intrigued how this all fully plays out, because imagine, it's not happening here, but it's like the games go back to a channel.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Golden Knights, they're on a thing called Scripps Sports, and I think a couple of teams are. They were on AT&T Sportsnet, and that was their regional. That's gone. I think there's Root Sports still. I think Seattle's on that, but now we're getting, like, when people come in from other teams and we're seeing them for the first time since last season, they have new mic flashes, and they're like, yeah, we're not Bally's anymore. We're this. Like, there's one that's we had Hannah Yates on from the Canes broadcast, and that day, I think, was their first day switching over. I want to say it was like FanDuel Sports Network.
Yeah, they bought out of some networks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there, and it's scattered. It's kind of a free for all, it seems like, and it's really interesting how it's changing. The regionals are different, and then, of course, here in Canada, we're always a little bit behind. So I'm sure it'll happen eventually in 5 years.
Well, what kind of feedback have you gotten, like in the Nasty chat and whatnot, from the Oilers games that have been on Prime? Because that's a different way to watch them. Not everybody has Prime.
Prime.
I
So
haven't
it's,
seen enough. I shouldn't say enough. I haven't seen a lot of complaining about the fact of, like, where is this game? Why don't
how
I
do
get
I-
this?
yeah.
Why is it only on? Like, why am I not getting it on Sportsnet? I haven't seen a lot of that. Maybe I'm just not looking.
We got a little bit of it on the pre and post game show. People, I don't have Amazon Prime. What? This is garbage.
Yeah.
And I get that. And you knew that was going to happen. But, like, the broadcast itself was good.
Yeah,
It didn't
I
have,
watched,
like,
I watched
yeah.
it a little bit. Although sometimes I have trouble the feed on Amazon. Like, we have Amazon Prime, but sometimes the feed is like not great.
Oh.
Yeah,
Shoot,
I'm not sure.
Mine's been all right.
Yeah.
I've only watched the 2 other games on Amazon Prime. I have
Yeah.
no interest in watching the
I
other
watched
hockeys
one
on
other
Amazon
one.
Prime because, like, I'm not gonna. And I just have to figure out how to do it best. But I want to be able to flip through my channels. Like tonight, if I'm watching Monday Night Football, for the most part, Monday Night Football is going to be all it's on. But I want to be able to flip every so often to something else if I want to.
Yeah, and
And it's
a little
not
more
as easy.
difficult.
It's not as easy.
It's an extra step.
There's actually, yeah, and so it's just like I don't want to do that, and so I'm not going to watch any other hockey game unless I'm forced to.
You realize there's an extra step to watch or listen to EST.
I just tell
in your
Siri
car
to
or
play
what?
it.
It's this, no,
You tell
100%.
Siri to play it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like 3 buttons instead of 1. But
I understand, and I fully understand that that's going to be a thing that
Yeah.
combats us with them. That's why it's like, at least with the newer cars, like TuneIn or iHeartRadio, some of those, they're built right into the car.
Right.
So it'd be the same then. But like, I'll say this, at least, because I do flip still listening to EST. I could throw EST on my phone in my car. It's on my Bluetooth input, and I could quickly switch back to FM by pressing a button.
I have a button.
And then I
Yeah.
could press back and it goes back. So I just need to, once I get in my car, first thing in my car is turn on
yeah.
EST.
right.
Whereas when I go to Amazon Prime, I still don't have my cable.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have to switch my TV input to go to cable, and then I got to switch my channels. And it's not as simple that way for me. Whereas like at least in my car, it's on my button. I could change the source right on my thumb.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I'm adjusting the volume or anything or switching channels, I just have to push a button
Yeah.
and I'm back to a different channel.
Same.
Yeah.
So it's actually it's only the setup part, but then it's the exact same listening experience for me of switching radio stations with EST. But TV, I have to go from, my HDMI 2 input is where Amazon Prime is. HDMI 1 input is where my Telus is.
So you don't have it. I just go on the Telus.
I have it on my Chromecast.
Oh, okay. You do.
I
on
haven't set it
Chromecast.
up on my Telus box yet.
Yeah, it's literally a QR code on your phone. That's how quick.
And same with the Chromecast.
I know.
But that's where I have like Chromecast is where I have YouTube.
You love Chromecast.
I've
I've learned. He's got his things.
I don't even know
Chromecast
what
is just
Chromecast
brilliant.
is. What is it?
You plug it into your TV. Some TVs have Google TV plugged in, which is Chromecast, and you download your apps on it. So it's like a Fire Stick with Amazon. It's like Apple TV. So it has YouTube. It has Prime. It has Crave. It has and all those apps that you want. It's just right there. You could connect, and I'm an Android guy for the most part, so I could connect everything very seamlessly to everything.
You're
It's
one of
very
those
easy.
guys.
Yeah, even here, like Telus TV has an app in Android. So here we have Google TV. So I've put my app on these TVs so we can watch my cable here, so we don't have to pay for cable at EST. We're just paying using my
works.
cable. Unfortunately, Rogers doesn't have that yet.
Yeah.
Because I use my parents' one with Rogers, and they have more channels than I have. So I'll go use theirs, but theirs has a Chromecast version. So like at home, I could throw my parents' Rogers plan. I could find a show and I could cast it right to my TV, and I could just watch it on my TV.
Wow.
So I don't even need cable anymore. I could just use my parents all the time.
Oh, technology, hey?
And that's the thing with the Chromecast, that it's just that to me, I haven't played with an Apple TV enough to know how easy it is with that. And I haven't used an Amazon Fire Stick in my life to know how easy it is with that. But Chromecast, I love them. I use them very well. But they're changing it up and they're going to be more expensive now.
Chromecast?
Yeah, because they used to have a thing that's just like a thing that you plug into the back of the TV.
Oh, okay.
Now they're actually doing something that they got rid of those or discontinuing those, and they're involving what's just now Google TV. But it's like $130 now instead. It used to be like $40 with the stick. So I got to go pick up a couple of those just to have.
All right.
I think.
Boy, teach lessons on how to do all this stuff.
It's so easy. Like, anyway, it's so
There's
easy.
a remote
Plus,
now.
yeah. Yeah, this thing, like, and it sounds way better. Like, our old station would have some rough spots where you wouldn't pick it up, right? That transmitter was on the fritz.
Oh, well, it's not even just the transmitter. Just straight up 1260 wasn't a strong enough signal.
Right.
That if you're in certain parts of the city.
Yeah. This
Or if
is
you're driving
clearly
under
better.
underpass, there was always going to be issues.
Yeah.
I think I've got us as far as Red Deer was about where I would start losing us, depending on the day.
Most Edmonton stations get lost when I'm driving down to Calgary. That's when I got to start
Right around
filming
FM
the
would be
podcast
sooner.
or whatever.
FM would be sooner,
A little bit sooner.
depending on which ones.
Yeah.
880. I know there's people in BC that used to be able to catch 880 pretty well.
Really?
And now they struggle with it.
Right. Well,
Or not 880, sorry, 630.
6:30.
But now it's moved
Yeah,
to
to
880.
880,
It struggles getting to some of those places. Actually, I think I've heard some people in their the farming community in Alberta. They've had issues with it. Like 630 they could get it in their combines or
Right.
whatever it is. But now 880 is harder.
That's what some of our
them
hunters
can't
are
get it.
saying.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah,
too?
because they want to listen to the
Yeah.
hockey games and they're having a tough time with it, and they're telling me, they're like, "What's going on with this?" I'm like, "It's not us. That's a different company."
But isn't that why they moved up the dial, was to get a bigger...
That's what they say.
well, that's what they say. The higher up the dial you are, the
Well, the
further your
lower
reach.
the lower the frequency, the better. So 630 was the strongest signal. That's how it
Then
works.
why in the world did they move? I thought
Oh, we
I
can
read
talk
that
about
it's
this
the,
off the air for
All
sure.
right.
Yeah, it's not what they were saying
Yeah,
publicly.
I
Yeah.
thought it was so they could
No.
get a bigger reach.
No, because and I'd have to double check with my old engineers on that one. But everything I learned in radio is the lower is the better.
Yeah, that's the stronger the signal.
Like 630, just based on pure radio understanding and the numbers, 630 is a better signal than 880, and it was double the signal of 1260. Like
Yeah.
so, it's just like it. That
higher up
just
the
never
dial
made
you go,
sense.
the
I
worse it
think
gets.
one thing they could argue, and I think they did, is that in the city of Edmonton specifically, it might be stronger. And I don't know if whether that's the case or not. It might be, but that's what they were saying. But once you get to every other area, it's not going to be as strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joel, I know you could jailbreak things. I'm very aware of that. To Dave C, 780. Shaw Xfinity apps on Fire Stick. Assume it's on others as well. Yeah, it's on I could get it on my phone. I can't get it on the TV through Google. It might be on Amazon and stuff, but I can't get it through the Google ones. I'm a shill for Google, I guess, and Android. I just haven't touched this Fire Stick. Well, they're all billionaire companies.
They are.
I'm a shill for Google as opposed to Jeff Bezos and the Apple company.
You're into when I got this phone in the summer, Belzy's like, "Hey, we're gonna get a screaming deal on these new iPhones," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I guess so. Save us some money each." And I had more problem with a brand new iPhone, more problems with a brand new iPhone than my old iPhone 11. Like this thing, I can Bluetooth it to my TV. I was late for 2 morning shows because I didn't know I would listen to music or whatever on my TV in my place when I was doing stuff off my phone. But I was finding out that I was turning down the volume on my phone with my TV remote. So I turned my volume on my alarm off completely because at night I'd turn down the volume on my TV, go to bed. And I'm like, what is going on with this damn thing? And then the microphone. Remember the microphone, Maddie? I ordered like 6 different cables to get my mic to work in this damn phone. And then finally Maddie troubleshoot. It was like the last resort. And he's like, yeah, it looks like you need like this cable because it has like a certain chip that processes with the USB-C. And I was like, oh my God. I ordered like 4 or 5 different cables. I ordered, remember the adapters. And I'm just like, it was so annoying. So annoying.
How was Maddie your last resort on something?
Because
like
I
that?
wanted
They should be
to
your first-
figure out myself.
Well, okay.
But it did not work. And then he's like, yeah, just give it to me. 10 minutes later, he's like, "You need this." So I ordered it, and that was it.
All right.
I said, I think you need this.
Yeah.
I never go definitive because there's a chance it's not going to work.
He was 98% sure, and guess what? He was right.
I just want to remind people we do have the EST Flyaway to LA keyword to give away later in the show. We're into our 4th last day of qualifying. We're giving this away on Friday. Dusty's back just in time to give this away.
How about that?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
To a degree, I was kind of like partly hoping he wouldn't be here this week. Like, yeah, he wasn't here all of November.
Will gives it away.
Isn't there? Is there any proof that he was actually like sick at home and not like on a European vacation in Portugal and Spain?
Well, he
or
was
something?
talking to me about watching The Wire. So I don't know. Was he catching up on
Yeah.
TV shows? Was he really actually sick?
He said he watched all of Game of Thrones again.
Interesting.
You can do that from. You can do that from Hawaii.
Well, but I'm saying like also like if you're sick, you have time to watch all. Like you're not like
Well, you got
you're
a
not
lot of.
focusing
You got
on
a
your
lot
health.
of time.
You're not focused on your health.
Yeah, he was hitting
you're
the
laying in
gummies
bed,
and
yeah.
like.
Yeah. What else you do when you're sick? You lay in bed and you watch TV. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Do some work on the laptop,
Hey,
on the computer.
there you go.
Could have done that.
Well, that's taxing on your brain. Watching TV is not taxing on your brain.
He's trying to watch The Wire, and that'll be taxing your brain a little bit. I've always told him because he tells me I need to watch The Shield, and I have zero interest in watching The Shield. But he says it will be better than The Wire, and I say no. Wire is one of the greatest television shows of all time, which is just lists across the internet say that like it is more. It's way more considered a top show than I think ever The Shield. I think you could find maybe a couple of shows or lists that say The Shield is a great TV show, but for the most part, The Wire is considered one of the greatest shows ever. And I've always said like you have to get through the first 4 episodes. You get through it; it's a slow burn, and then it's fine. And today he's like, I'm through 9 episodes. I'm like, well, you're then never going to think it's a great show.
Is The Wire a thinker? Like you got to be pretty in tune with everything that's going on. If you miss a scene, you're screwed.
I want to say no.
Oh, okay.
I want to say if you miss a scene here and there, like, yeah, you might miss, like, it's not like a fast pace. Like when they're talking even, it's not like quick that you might forget what's going on or get confused by it and have to rewind to double check.
Like they're sipping on coffee and that takes like 4 seconds instead of having dialogue. Like the long,
It's a mix between that, I think. Somebody else could correct me on that.
They put it down, then someone
But
says
The Wire
something.
is great. I just started watching Suits.
Great show.
I've never seen it
Great
before.
show.
and
It's unbelievable. You can't
I'm
stop.
through 2 seasons already.
Great show.
Yeah,
Going through that over the last week.
one
That
of
was-
the best I've ever seen for sure.
He reminds me a lot, Harvey Specter, of Gregory House from the show House.
Gabriel
I know
Mock.
that show.
He's excellent in that. I think Michael, what's the other guy's name? Michael
Ross is the character.
Yeah, and he's played by, I follow him, Patrick Adams, Canadian.
Is he?
Yeah, Patrick J. Adams, I think. And then, what's her name? Meghan Merkel
Yeah.
is in it.
The princess herself,
Yes.
who's not really a princess.
Yeah.
She's stripped. Yeah, because they're stripped.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's fights between the royals.
Yes, I know. I've read all about all that. I don't quite get it. I don't think they were the problem, but
And then, yeah, there's, what's his name? You got, what the hell's a little annoying guy?
Lewis.
Lewis.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
lit up. Donna, Stevie.
Lewis lit.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
some
it.
great characters. Jessica, like, oh man.
Hard not to enjoy that show. I mean, I don't watch a lot of shows, but that one I did, and it's fabulous.
But like Succession, Wire, Sopranos, to me, like way better. And that's because they're the greatest of all time.
Really, I've never watched any of those.
Succession is the new, like I was so sad when Succession ended because I'm like, I don't know when next time I'll see that brilliant of television again. It will happen because like The Sopranos and The Wire happened, and I know that there will be that brilliant of television. I don't know the next time though I'm going to get that brilliant of television. And that one like sucked me in, and I just go like, it went 4 seasons, I think 39 episodes, and I'm devastated when it's over but I'm glad they ended it because they ended. It was like start to finish perfection. And now, but it's like, okay, well, when's that next show going to come where I'm just going to fall in love with him? Like, this is actually one of the greatest pieces of television ever.
What's it about? I didn't even.
Succession?
Yeah.
Billionaire family, starts with dad, power struggle inside his company. Whether he wants to keep it or give it to his kids, it goes back and forth. At points, you love not at the same time, but you'll love every character at some points. You'll hate every single character at other points.
Wow. Is Damian Lewis in that one, or am I thinking
That's
of Billions?
Which
He's brilliant.
I watched, and this is the difference between HBO and Showtime. Succession's HBO, Billions is Showtime.
Okay.
Billions, first couple of seasons was brilliant. Excellent. Nailed it. Like, it could have been Succession.
Okay.
But then they become characters of themselves and they like play, and then it's lost its way. And like, I reluctantly finished the series because I'm like, and it was fine. But like the first like 2 seasons were fantastic. And then they just lost their way because Showtime just ruins things. They can't get it done. HBO, like when they have a hit, and they've had misses, but when they have a hit, it's generally like solid from the start to the end.
You want to know what I get to watch right now? Holiday Baking Championship.
Sweet.
That sounds fun.
Is that what Jessica's watching?
Yes, and so she kind of got me hooked onto it. Oh, and the Christmas Cookie Challenge on Food Network. I mean,
I'm
Does it
getting
make you
hungry.
want to cook or bake?
no, but it is actually kind of. It's not Suits. But,
No.
You still get to snuggle with my wife on the couch and watch shows that she likes. That's good.
I get sucked into cooking shows every so often.
Yeah.
I've like, I'm going to get that wrong. It's Triple D or whatever. Diners, Drives, and Dine-Ins or Diner
Is that a Guy
Guys.
Fieri?
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy
show?
just seeing the different foods that are happening around the world. And there's Beat Bobby Flay,
Oh, Beatball, yeah.
which is like a type of Iron Chef. Iron
Yeah.
Chef used to be fantastic. And I love a good cooking show.
Yeah.
The Great British Baking Show was one of my favorites.
Oh, never seen that one.
It was just a wholesome competition. They all loved each other and like something, or most of the time. But like if you watch Hell's Kitchen or you watch like MasterChef, they fake the drama or they add something, and then there's all these things and there's time crunches. British Baking Show, somebody gets kicked off and they're all hugging and crying after because they're sad that the person's gone.
Oh,
No idiot sandwiches?
No, there's nothing like that. There's no yelling, and like it's like in MasterChef, it's like you got 45 minutes to do this dish that usually takes an hour and a half. In the Great British Baking Show, they go, "Oh, you got 5 hours." But then they get to something really elaborate and stuff like that.
in
so
5 hours, they better, yeah.
It was fantastic. I loved it. It was just a good way to spend a night sometimes.
Making me hungry thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could use some food right now. Bronco Nick Soups was fantastic. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm having this. I got to get into this debate. We got to talk some sports too at some point here.
Okay.
But Northside Sandwich has this, which some people are going, how does this conversation even start at work? Which is a great question. But hot work debate from Northside Sandwich. When filling the bathtub, do you close the drain valve before or after you start and get the water to temperature?
Well, I haven't had a bath in a long time, but my son does. So when I get the bath for him, I put the plug in first.
Do you?
Get the hot water going, and then get a little extra hot to get it up to temperature, and then adjust it to get it to the right temperature.
I first have the hand under the water until I get it to the right temperature I want it at.
Then
and I
you
close.
put the
Yeah.
So that it all fills at that one temp.
Yeah.
well. I mean,
That's interesting.
there's more than one way to get to the same result.
Yeah.
A quality hot bath.
I haven't had one in like a couple of years. Wow. Need to have one.
You need to have a bath.
They're lovely.
Bubbles.
They're
There's lots of
lovely.
bubbles in there.
You put bubble or like those bath bombs. I think I still have a couple of bath bombs. You throw it in there. It's all nice. You just relax. Throw on some music.
I've had one bath, like soak
In your life?
in my new place.
Oh.
And I've had it for a year and a bit.
No, I've only had like one or two, and I've had my place for like 8 years.
Yeah, really? Oh, yeah, because
There's also the hot tub downstairs.
the hot tub.
Well, like we're talking about doing a reno in our bathroom at some point and actually getting rid of the bathtub altogether
Big shower.
and get a much bigger honking shower
Amazing.
and more closet space.
Nice.
But like my wife's worried, well, resale value, you need to like, does anybody really have a bath? I mean, obviously someone does. I was asking questions. My kid has a bath, but I, as an adult, I had so few baths.
Somebody mentioned that to me recently. They said that is a big factor in resale value. It keeps the value, bumps it up a little bit by having a bath. And I was like, I don't plan on selling this. I just moved here. But they're like, no, that's good to have. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Graham Dixon, sorry. He's with Kid Sports, so apologies, Graham Dixon. This debate is amateur compared to the toothpaste on toothbrush debate. Rinse the brush before toothpaste, after toothpaste, before and after.
After.
So you put the toothpaste on and then put the water on?
Actually, I think I run it quickly before toothpaste, then put the toothpaste on, then quick.
So you do both.
Yeah, I guess I do.
Man, I'm before.
Maybe I'm a weirdo.
I'm just before too.
Yeah.
You just wet
it a
the
rinse
bristles.
Why do you need to do it twice?
And then you
I force a habit. I don't think I need to do it twice. I think I just do it
put it on
twice.
and then go right in the mouth.
Yeah. Get those bubbles going.
Boy, oh boy. I didn't know you were so weird. No.
Me neither.
I mean,
Yeah.
these are funny topics, though,
Yeah.
like the different habits that people have.
No, that's
Yeah, I'm just before.
Yeah.
think I
didn't
did
know
a couple
there
of weeks ago,
I didn't
I
know that. I didn't know anybody did it twice. That's
I didn't know I did it twice till I thought about it just now.
A couple of weeks ago, I realized I didn't put any on once, and I was like, "This sucks."
what
was he doing? Were you
I don't even know. I just missed it. Just put the toothpaste right on and went in the mouth. I'm like, "This isn't smart."
Yeah.
So
it's
always
definitely not. It's definitely not the same. If you make that mistake, it's not going to feel as good brushing your teeth. I'm not going to like it.
Reed also adds Reed Wilkins in the nasty chat. He'll be on the Hangout tomorrow.
All right.
Myself and Jasmine bumps up the resale by having a bath, like while people are looking at the house. He's wondering about that.
I guess so.
I know that there are different things like what realtors will have to ask Damon Bunting one day.
He would know. He's in Mexico, though.
He's in Mexico?
Yeah. Or at least he was.
I know he's coming in for Reed's show, reading with Reed and Jay. I think maybe this week at some point. He's
Okay,
supposed to be.
well, I think last
but that's a
week he was
perfect
in
question for Damon. He'd know. But there are those type of things. They affect the resale value.
Yeah.
What people like, what people don't like. Hardwood better than carpet for resale.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
much better looking.
Except I like carpet for like it hides the dirt more.
Yeah. Yeah, I cleaned my floor yesterday.
But you can mop a hardwood floor. I mean, you need to get in a professional carpet cleaner to get rid of the dirt and carpet.
Well, you vacuum on a regular basis, and you hear that nice pickup of it. But then you steam clean it once in every so often.
This is true.
You rent those from like.
It's way easier to mop a hardwood floor than to steam
Oh, no,
clean your
100%.
carpet. Yeah.
Wow. Actually, with the machines they have nowadays, it's very easy. My brother has one. I borrow it
Yeah.
I borrow
Parents
it.
do too.
I borrow it like once a year to do my like area rugs. I enjoy it.
All right.
We'll have to explain that to him after.
Yes.
I don't think he knows.
Nope.
Interesting. K Gill 39 guys. Rangers apparently want to make some moves according to Freeman. Do you think this
Hang
is
on.
just for a shakeup, or did they lose? Did that loss to Edmonton really rip them? They also lost to the Flames. Let's not forget.
Yeah. I thought K. Gill would ask if Edmonton. Somebody already did ask if Edmonton would be interested. I mean, Trouba's great, but it's crazy
Because
that
it's Trouba and Kreider.
Kreider
That was what
too,
Freeman
yeah.
had.
Yeah. So as for like if people are like, well, what do the Oilers get? I don't think Trouba wants to come back to Canada. I think.
But what's Trouba get paid? There's no way in the world
Yeah,
the
he gets
Oilers
paid good money.
could afford Trouba. No chance.
I thought they had a good start to the season, the Rangers.
they're pretty good.
What happened to them?
That was
What's
just
their
their.
record now? They got to be pretty good.
They're 7-3 on
I
the
can't
road.
go to cap friendly.
Oh, well, that's tough. They're 7-3 on the road after that loss to the Oilers. Although Edmonton played really good. Yes, the Rangers, didn't have their A game, but Kreider is good. And then, but the other thing is like Chris Drury seems to be an interesting GM. Very fiery, apparently.
Well, especially
Brash.
after a couple of losses, and he wants to make wholesale changes. What's their record? Let's look up their record.
Well, I'm just first looking
It's
up.
good.
So Kreider is 6.5 with a modified no trade. Why can't I click this? Where's this? Like, wow, I don't like Puckpedia right now.
Rangers are 12-6-1.
Yeah.
Jacob Trouba's
Jeez.
$8 million with some sort of trade
there's,
clause.
There's no
Why-
way
there
in
it
the
is.
world he's coming to Edmonton.
12 team no trade list for Trouba. Or no, 15. Right, this year's 15, 12 next year at $8 million, and Kreider is 6.5 with. Why can't I click this? 15 team right now. So it's not even going to be easy to
Couple
trade
American
for them.
guys.
No. And
Maybe them in Boston can make some sort of move.
but sometimes GM, he might just be saying that just to, light
Wake
a
up his
fire
team,
under the
yeah.
team and things like that. They're 12-6-1. That's and before they just come on through Alberta, they had only four
Yep.
losses. So
Yep.
man, that's a pretty darn good hockey club.
Yep.
So yeah, they're not trading those guys.
I doubt it.
Yeah, they're hard to
Although
move.
Trouba was kind of things with the organization. Trouba, I don't think are pretty.
Well, didn't they want to trade him this offseason or
Yeah,
something? But
they're
he didn't
talking
want to
about
leave
that.
because his wife, like one of the reasons he went to New York was his wife
that's
is a
right, yeah.
huge,
She's a doctor.
huge, yeah. And like one of the best spots for her to be at is in New York.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to leave that,
Yep, that is correct.
which is like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a good reason to want to stay.
So, but then if you're one of those players, okay, so you have your list, you've given your list. Now, I don't know, did they give that list at the start of the year, or is it only if they're asked that
I think
they have
if
to
they're
present
asked,
the list?
yeah, I think you have the power of the list,
okay.
and then it's like, hey, can we see your list?
So, but generally those type of players, maybe Trouba's a little different. Maybe his list would just be sticking to the New York area.
Could be.
So that,
Yeah.
so if he did get moved, he's still close to his wife. Maybe Kreider's a little differently, but you're also going to look for more so the top teams. And what top team's going to be able to make that type of trade? Because if you're going to trade for Trouba or Kreider with their price point, you're going to have to give up something to make that trade work mathematically. So which means you'll probably have to give up a player. And that just makes it more difficult.
And then look at their ages too. They're not young. I don't feel like either, are they?
Trouba's 30, I think I saw here. Trouba's 30, Kreider's 33.
33.
So, and with Trouba, you
Kreider's
get
starting
2
to get up
years
there.
of him, including this year. With Kreider, you have him for 3 years, including this year. That's 6.5.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Nope.
What'd you guys make of Drew Bannister getting let go in St. Louis that quickly?
And how about what the reason that they publicly said? That's unbelievable. Like,
What did they publicly? I missed that part
they
then.
publicly said the reason that we fired our coach is because a better one became available.
Did they actually say that?
Yep.
Well, one is Jim Montgomery a better coach? Like,
Wow.
I don't hate that rationale
Well, it's
to a
honest.
degree. It's honest, and if a better coach becomes available, you don't want to miss out on that better coach. But to me, I don't know if Jim Montgomery's that coach. Like if John Cooper was all of a sudden like the Lightning were like, we're firing John Cooper right now. I think a lot of teams across hockey should be like, you want to know something? He is better than what we have.
Yeah.
We need John Cooper. We can't allow him to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I would understand that. Jim Montgomery, really?
Well, he's certainly got a very high pedigree. Because, been listening to some of my Blackhawks podcasts lately, and that was something. Go out and get Jim Montgomery here in Chicago. And the experts were saying, there is no way in the world that Jim Montgomery is coming to Chicago. He's going to wait for a great opportunity. And then, a week later, he goes to the freaking St. Louis Blues,
Right.
who are nothing. So, because I don't think that organization is, that team is not great. Their roster is not great.
Yeah.
I don't think that St. Louis Blues are a team that really are anywhere close to being a contender, but
Has never won a playoff round in his career. Lost in the second round with. Oh no! So no, sorry, never mind. He's won 2 playoff rounds. I'm reading this wrong. I thought they usually Wikipedia does a list. Has never gone to a conference finals. Then I don't know. Playoff records sub 500 in 3 playoff appearances. Like his regular season record generally is pretty good, but it's just one of those. I don't view him as one of those guys where I'm just going to sit there and just be like, yeah, that's a guy I'm going to make major changes for, especially when you just hired Drew Bannister.
And man, like you look at how aggressive St. Louis is. I mean, the offer sheets with Broberg and Holloway, and now making this coaching change just 20 games into a coach's first year with a team. I mean, they gave him a 5-year contract.
Reed said Montgomery clearly better coach than Bannister. That's fine. Then why sign Bannister? If you think like
that lowly.
Well, that's the thing. You
because,
keep him as an interim coach or something.
I was surprised they kept him,
Well, that's like
to be honest.
why then keep that guy there and give him a contract if you're then just going to wait and because there'd be a lot of coaches then you could argue are better than Drew Bannister. So why'd you sign the guy? I'm just not. I just find that like I'm just Jim Montgomery, great regular season record, sure, or fine regular season record. Hasn't done a lot in the playoffs. So I'm sorry. Like to me, there's better coaches than that there. Chris Knobloch in 1 year as a head coach has more playoff or has more playoff series wins than
That's
Jim Montgomery
crazy.
does.
Yeah.
Now he had Connor and Leon. Well, there's that. But still, like he's not this. I wouldn't have him as a top 3 coach or something in hockey.
No.
Yeah. It's fascinating moves for sure.
Also, and had a great Boston Bruins team in the regular season. Set the record for it, and what happened?
They fell apart in the first round.
Yep.
It's interesting, too, because there's a transition period happening in St. Louis with the management team going from Doug Armstrong to Alex Steen as GM. I wonder, is there influence there? Like, how is that motivating it? Is there a timeline? Is Armstrong trying to get one last run at it while he's the guy? I don't know. There's all these factors.
They don't have the horses to go in any.
No, you're right. No. They had a nice start to the season, but they've had some injuries. Yeah, exactly.
Broberg being one, legitimately.
For sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Goaltending hasn't been as good as you'd expect that they were expecting out there. So, there are things hurting Drew Bannister in that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when you talk, look, it just brought up Broberg. If you could go back in time and look at where the Oilers are right now, and you think of what Broberg was doing before he got hurt, Holloway's been okay, nothing great. Like, how devastating, devastating is a big word. How negative was it for the Oilers to not retain those two guys, do you think now? Looking back 20 games into this year, if you could go back, if you guys were the GM of the Oilers at the time, would you have made the decision to do what you needed to do to sign those guys first before you dished out some of the other contracts that you did? Or are you okay with them being gone and kind of what's here and how it played out?
I think right now the easy answer and what most people would say is yes. Those guys should have been more of a priority. But I think we need to see. Time will tell. Podkolzin's a top line guy. He drives his own line with 2 of the best in the world. Scored a beautiful goal, and
makes the other guys better.
Makes the other guys better. We're talking about a guy who has 6 points, scored his first goal in 22 games, like he's a superstar. Anyway, I don't. I think as of right now, the answer would be a resounding yes. I think, but it's gonna. I think the true impact of it will take time. I really like Dylan Holloway and where his game is going. I think he's going to be a good player, good middle 6 guy for a long time. And Broberg, good on him for getting that fresh start. And that's the other thing too, Murray, and I think we forget this, is if Broberg had stayed, would he have and he'd be motivated, but would he feel right being here?
What if he had that type of season here in Edmonton as he did before the injury in St. Louis?
Yeah, exactly. So there's those factors that I think have to come into play and be considered. But I think the answer would be a resounding yes to your question right now. But I think we won't really be able to tell for another year or two.
You look at Broberg and the success that he had there, and Nurse has clearly had having a much better year this year than he did last year. Now, Broberg with his elevation paired with Nurse, man, that would be rock solid second pairing.
I agree.
Yeah.
At the time, I don't even go back to making them a priority. You could have still made that mistake. He was not matching the Broberg, and I understand it was high value. Because to me, it was just if I was Jeff Jackson, Stan Bowman, I would have went to Broberg and be like, look, we're gonna match this because we can't lose you for a second. We're going to have a great year. We will trade you in August next year. We will make that move. We need you this season to be great, to be as good as you can. Increase your value because that helps more teams want you better. It's better for you because then we could trade you to somewhere that you might like. And for us, we could get something better than a second round pick a year from now. And hey, you might get a Stanley Cup ring out of this.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And that was where the whole time, and that's where I'm a little like, it's too bad that Broberg's had that start to the season. Great point by you, though. He might not have had that here. He might have, maybe he would have sulked.
Yep.
If you say we're matching this offer sheet, or because that's part of this. He might not have ever signed a contract with the Oilers.
Yeah.
He might, as people say, the Oilers should have prioritized him. Based on what we've learned about Broberg and his relationship with the Oilers, he may have always just been no. I want out. I'm not going to sign this. Yeah. But then the offer sheet comes, so now you have the easy way of being yep. But if you went and we're matching this, he might have sulked, and it might not have been this way. But that's where I just look and go, if they had matched him, it would have been a tough price to pay this year because it's more money than he deserved this season. No question about it. But if he played well enough, could you have gotten a better asset for him next summer, than the second round pick you got this year? And that's the tough part for me. But you have a second round pick to use at a deadline this year that you wouldn't have had you waited.
I just don't feel he would have been that guy and sulked. I mean, if he would have been that guy, I mean, he was in the playoffs last year and he played his ass off. So I feel like if he was going to be a sulker and not really want to be part of the organization, we wouldn't have seen that type of play out of him in the playoffs. So he would have come in here and done his thing. I think. I mean, I don't know, but I just think that I just look at the Oilers' decor. If they had him and Nurse, Kulak's obviously playing well, and then that's 5, and now you have one problem on D that you needed to solve. Where now you got
2, 3.
Nah, those are fine. Did you see what happened on Saturday?
Right.
Yeah, one game. They're good. I know people are like,
good.
It is so hilarious listening to the fan base here, because when they lose a game,
the world's falling, the sky's falling.
Yeah.
That
Oh my God,
funny.
everyone's guard. This guy's terrible. This guy's terrible. Oh my God, we got to fix this. And then they win one game. And it's
very convincing win. Give them that.
And now we're back. Watch us go on a roll now. Like, are you kidding me? Settle down. Just be a little more even keeled and realize there's ebbs and flows in a hockey season. And the Oilers are far from out of the woods right now, because they could lose the next game and everyone's going to jump off a cliff again. But
by U.S. Thanksgiving, which is Thursday, there's a really good chance they'll be out of playoff spot.
Yeah.
Because they don't play until Friday.
They have that weird 5-day gap.
So they've got this little time off, and we will see. Yeah. And then you know that the history says 80% of the teams that are in the playoffs at that time make the playoffs. So can the Oilers be that 20% that knocks themselves in?
Well, yes. The answer to that is absolutely yes.
It's also close. Well, like I'll say this, credit to them right now, but 21 games is a good mark. I need to see it at 41 games. But the Calgary Flames, with what they're doing.
I still think they fall.
And
good on them.
I remember the Ducks a couple of years ago. Maybe it might have Dallas Aikens last year or something there. They were really good until about January or so, and then they fell off.
Arizona did that last year, too.
Yes. Now, Arizona did have then the reports. David Pagnotta, I think, was the first that they're looking to move, and then their season kind of just collapsed from there. So I need to see them more closer to the halfway point.
Yeah.
But credit to the Flames right now is
4-game heater.
27 points in 21 games, second in the division right now. But that's natural. Like it's Vegas, it's Calgary, it's LA, it's Edmonton, it's Vancouver is the top 5 right now in the Pacific. You could see that if there's anything that's going to change, the Flames will start tumbling.
I think so.
They absolutely should.
It was interesting on the morning show, Lieutenant Eric and that guy that was filling in for Comrade Will today. We're asking, how would you describe the Oilers to this point, or the Oilers are blank? And I think figuring it out was what came to mind for me. So I think they'll be okay.
They need
be just fine.
They need to play with more consistency.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
There's just no consistency in their game. There's no consistent effort night in and night out. I mean, they're not. They're not there yet.
True.
And I mean, maybe they'll get there. Maybe they won't. I mean, they did last year and made it to the Stanley Cup final, and that was great. But they've got to do it again this year. They've got a lot of turnover in their roster, but. Boy, they've got to solve that problem on the D. Like
Emerson's starting to show some good signs, but you're right.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's a top 4 defenseman or will become one, emerges one this year, but he has had forward progress, which is good, I think. But that's a small thing when the problem is their lack of depth on defense.
Well, to me, when that trade happened, and so many people in Edmonton were like, "Oh my God, this Emerson guy's going to be so good. He's going to be the perfect number 4 defenseman." I'm like, are you out of your mind? San Jose is a rebuilding team. They want young players that are going to grow and be better in 2 or 3 or 4 years from now. They're not trading Emerson for 33-year-old Cody Ceci, who's not going to be part of their team when they're any good, if they thought that Emerson was a player or was going to turn into a player. They're not making that trade.
Yeah.
Who knows Emerson better than they do? Nobody, because he was in their organization. So Is he going to grow into something that San Jose didn't think? Maybe. But they are absolutely not making that trade ever if they thought that Emerson was going to be a quality piece to their future. He's at the perfect age to be part of their future, and they made that move for 33-year-old Cody Ceci. They didn't think he was going to be a quality player. So, and we all know that defensemen sometimes take extra time to develop.
They take longer than a forward.
And he may turn into a player. But San Jose didn't see it.
What's the number? The number always changes.
For defensemen, like 200 to 300 games.
Yeah, it's like that was okay. Yeah, it's like 2. I think that's what we were saying with Bouchard and stuff like that. Let's go 250. Let's put it in the middle.
Yeah,
that's when they say you're supposed to know about a defenseman.
Yeah,
Emerson's far off from that, but I don't think we're gonna sit here and the Sharks I don't think are gonna one day sit there and be like, well, we really missed out on that.
Yeah, why did we make that trade?
But he might be a serviceable player for the Oilers.
Sure,
with the way he's playing a little better. He's how many games are we at now for Ty Emerson's career? 50 NHL games. So he's a quarter of the way through that to 200 at the very least. We'll see what he does.
Well, some guys elevate beyond that curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Gustav Forsling in Florida. That guy is an absolute stud that was in at least 3 organizations that barely gave him a sniff.
He was a waiver pickup, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now he is an absolute stud and a Stanley Cup champion.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's development of players is not linear at all. It's just you never know what's going to happen.
This is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, Murray McCourt with you here. The official drink of EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink, legend of 1952. A drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Longdrink.com/Canada is where you can go to find out which liquor store near you has it, or if you're at Rogers Place for anything. They have a deal with OEG, so you can pick up some long drink. They have the traditional citrus as well as the sugar-free traditional citrus that you can grab down at Rogers Place.
I picked some up yesterday.
Did you?
Delicious.
It's the best.
It was very, very good.
It's refreshing. It is a legit refreshing beverage to have.
It is
if you're
very,
looking for
very good.
for some alcohol and stuff. We will get to the keyword for the EST Flyaway in about 15 minutes or so as well. Murray, I don't remember if we talked about it on Monday. Ed Hervey, though, general manager of the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah,
you are
talk about it a little bit,
follow the team. You're a season ticket holder. You're a big partner with the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Your thoughts on Ed returning?
Well, I think he was always the guy. Just made sense. I mean, if we were talking about this just a little bit before we got on air today, if you could look at the beginning of this and you were going to get Chris Morris as president and you were going to get Ed Hervey as GM and you're going to get Rick Campbell as a head coach, which I think is the next chip that's going to fall here. Boy, that's 3 home runs. And I think that the organization is certainly moving in an extremely positive direction right now. And we're going to see what happens with Trey. I would prefer Trey to be the guy as quarterback, 26-year-old, rather than go get, say, VA and have a 33-year-old guy at the helm. I think you can grow and have Trey be the guy for 5, 6, 7 years here. And so I'd like to see that happen, but there's a lot of great pieces on the field. Hervey's going to, do what Hervey does and surround him with some more. And yeah, I'm liking the way this is playing itself out right now.
I think Trey's going to sign.
I think he's going to sign too.
Based on just the conversations we had with Ed.
Yeah.
Good interview you guys had with him.
Like just the way he was talking, it wasn't like he wants to have a conversation with Trey about, whether he fits with the Elks. It was like when Jay and I were talking with him, it was like, how are we going to use Trey? Like that's what he was talking about. Not what would we use Trey as if we signed him? It was how are we going to use him? How are we going to put pieces around him? As if in Ed's mind, he was already like, I want this guy to be the starter going into camp. As he said, it's a competition, and I don't think they're going to declare anyone the starter. Ed did trade for Michael Riley and declare that it was going to be a competition in camp between him and Matt Nichols.
Yes.
Nichols did get hurt in training camp, but I don't think there was any shot that Michael Riley wasn't going to be the starter through that training camp. They did make that move for him, but I think it's this similar type of thing here. I think we'll see Trey signed, hopefully. There'll be some other veteran backup that will come in, and they will declare that this is an open camp.
Yeah.
But I think Trey goes in as the front runner.
I think that's a mindset too. compete for my spot, but like we know who the de facto quarterback, top receiver, whatever, But I like that mentality of creating competition. You got to earn it. Because I was thinking back, I'm like, even like back in the day, we know Ricky Ray was the guy, but like, just want to go in, compete for my spot, have a good camp. Like that mentality where it's not just handed to you. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good thing too.
Sure. But you tell me one team in the league, CFL this year, that their quarterback played all 17 games.
I don't think there was one.
There wasn't one. So
they all got banged up.
You need two quarterbacks. You know that you're going to have two quarterbacks play.
Well, actually, the closest was Bo, I think. Well, did Zach Claros miss a game?
Yeah.
Did he miss a game?
I think he was banged up. Wasn't he
I think
banged
you're
up?
right. Bo got benched.
Yeah.
Bo didn't get hurt this year. He got benched. So I think Bo was the close. And that was only for like a quarter because Powell got hurt, I think. I'd have to look at the Ticats schedule closely. I think that might be the only one. And that's partly why he was MOP candidate, I think.
He's
too.
fresh.
Well, he had the best numbers of QBs, partly because he played the most games type thing. Now, he had a great season still, though. Like, he threw for a lot of yards, threw for touchdowns and stuff. But I think you're right for the injury-wise. Jake Mayer maybe stayed healthy, too. He was just not
He
good.
got benched too.
Yeah,
He got
too,
benched. But yeah, like it was, VA got hurt. Bethel Thompson did get hurt. Trey got hurt at one point. But Bethel Thompson was kind of benched too, though, in there. But he was hurt because he was talking for a couple of weeks about being banged up. Harris got hurt. Colaros then got hurt. We saw some issues in Ottawa with injuries and stuff.
BC used.
Toronto was suspension, but then hurt.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's so you need the veteran guy to come in with them, but it's got to be the role reverse. It's not going to like MBT was signed to be the number one guy. It's got to be a little role reversal there.
Well,
sure, go in and compete, but
I want Trey to have an off season where like that's where I hope the Elks make his signing, get him done, lock him up, where he could think that he's going into a camp to win the job.
Yeah.
Like even if he's not the full favorite and is knowing it's open. Last year it was like at this point last year we thought Trey's going to be the guy. But then that changed, and he had to go into camp going, I'm the number 2. It wasn't a competition. Like, Chris Jones didn't declare that as a competition.
Yeah.
He didn't say that there was a shot, like it was MBT's. And by saying that, like, the money said it. You weren't signing MBT with the bonuses, 500 and some, to have him as your backup. I think for him to have the mentality of going through this offseason, training and preparing to be the guy, I think he needs that.
yeah,
Let him have that and see what happens there.
There's an interesting text that came in. I want to hear what you guys think. I have an opinion on this, but I want to hear what you guys think. Dean in Clareview texted in, said, isn't Hervey and Campbell, ghosts of the past, part of the reason the Elks are where they are today? What would we say to Dean in Clareview? Because I'm sure there's other people thinking about that as well.
man, I think it's going back. They like Chris Morris wanted to bring back the Eskimo way, and not people like Rick Campbell and Ed Hervey know it as well as anybody. And I think Ed Hervey is one, and even before he said that, I was going to say this, is that Ed Hervey has learned and grown a lot since he was here before. I mean, he was a young, arrogant, cocky something when he was here before, and I mean, you listen to some of the things that he had to say, and I mean, he's been humbled by.
And Ed doesn't play to the media.
No.
Ed doesn't tell the media what they want to hear type thing. Ed is Ed.
Yeah. But he's softened.
Obvious. That was
He
very
doesn't.
obvious.
But that's my point. That shows that he has softened. Like
Yeah.
some people would sit there and be like, okay, well, I got to be soft, so they'll just play it.
Yeah.
Ed doesn't play.
Yeah.
Ed is Ed. That's who he is. Even at the press conference, he outright said, and like, this is where I get into trouble with things. Like,
Yeah.
Ed is Ed. And so if he's standing there saying, I need to learn, I need to soften, that's him legitimately saying, I've learned, I need to soften, not placating to the media.
Yeah.
In my mind of knowing Ed, the little bit I've known him for these years.
So I feel that those two guys in particular were not what got us to where we are today. I mean, I think you need to look at a couple of presidents that were hired, the board
is a
a
big
couple of GMs that after Hervey that were absolutely horrendous. So I do not think that those two guys are what got us here. You said you have an opinion. Where is your head at?
So like Morris, first of all, let's start with Morris. Like he hasn't been part of the organization since 2005 when they won the Grey Cup, and then he started his next chapter in his life. These two, plus whenever Rick Campbell gets announced as the head coach, like their idea of what the green and gold are is like the organizations up here right now. They're taking over, and it's slowly working its way up, but to respectability. But it's fallen way far off that mark. So they want to get it back to up here, maybe surpass that at some point. And it's like the type of people they are, and being on the same page, not having the board, the new ownership. There's so many things with their own processes that they possess and abilities that they've honed in their respective jobs in other markets and with other organizations. I think there's a lot of momentum that they'd be able to push it up to where it used to be, and then maybe even further, like I said. So it doesn't strike me as the same old. And then even if you want it to be like, well, like Dean and Clareview brought up, like the same old, well, the same old standard is well above where this team's at right now anyway.
Well, Ed Hervey, how about his honesty in saying, like, Edmonton is the laughing stock of the league right now, and people are like, don't want to come here because of how poorly the organization has been run, and these guys, I mean, the board is gone. I think that was a huge factor here too, and some great quality people are in proper positions to do what's right and turn this around.
Well, so like, because it was the text from, was it Dean or Drew?
Dean and Clareview,
Dean and Clareview. It was about, are they the same old that got us to this spot with this franchise?
Right.
Okay, I'll start with Rick. Rick hasn't been part of this organization in 2011. He was here after stints in Calgary and Winnipeg, and then he was with this team from 99 to 08. But he was a coordinator. He never was the head coach.
Yeah,
he never had. He was just a positional coach. He was, or a coordinator. So, and hasn't been here since 2011 and stuff. So, like, it's that he's not part of what got us to this point here when we're looking at this franchise. When you look at Ed, he wasn't fired because of football. He wasn't fired because the team was playing poorly on the field. There was a contract. Like, right? Like, it's, when you look back, and I go to when they last won the Grey Cup in 05. Since then, in 06 to now, but you could actually take this to 04 if you want a little bit. There hasn't been a lot of success with this franchise. It hasn't been a recent issue. It's been longer.
14, 15, like you talk about. That was the last.
Well, that's where I'm going to get to. Like, it's in the last 20 years, this team's franchise has hosted. No, that would be then 2004. They would have hosted one. They hosted in 11, I think it was, 14 and 15. They hosted playoff games. So 4 and 20 years isn't good enough for the standard. But 2 of those was 14, 15 when Ed was the GM. In the little moments of this span of 20 years where this team, well, okay, I got to take it to like 18 years. If you go past the 05 Grey Cup and the end of that run, there was 2 good years. That was the blip in the radar of this. That actually gives us a look at this and be like, this franchise is a little bit better than, like, if those 2 years didn't happen, the laughing stock would be even more.
Yes.
Right? But who was the guy that was the architect of that team?
Yeah,
it was Ed Hervey. So if you actually want to go back, the same old what got us here. Well, no, it wasn't Ed. Ed was the reason that this franchise was able to celebrate its last Grey Cup.
Yeah.
So now, did he have his flaws? 100%. There's a reason he had to talk about growing and changing a little bit. But if we to look at the fear as well, it's just going to be the same old from what got us to this point. Well, no, because Rick wasn't part of that. Ed was part of the good of the last recent years, and Chris Morris, to you, said hasn't been part of it either. Like he's the last time he was part of this organization in an official capacity, he was a player still. Yeah, you don't have those controls, and he was. I think probably his last game probably was hoisting the Grey Cup.
I think it was
right. Like, I think it might have been. Yeah. So like it's this is actually like the chance to get back to the good with the people that brought the good here with some of these guys. And look, I understand the old boys club in this city isn't something that is fondly talked about because of the Oilers.
Correct.
And look, when it doesn't go well, it's not good. But when it goes well, who doesn't want to see the people that cared about the franchise bringing it back? Like, I see the passion Chris Morris and Ed Hervey have with this organization.
Yeah.
I saw that from Craig McTavish and Kevin Lowe. Those two love the Oilers. They
still do.
Absolutely. Yeah. They bleed that it didn't work.
Correct.
It didn't work, and you couldn't just keep bringing back the old guys from the 80s to try to fix it. It wasn't working, but they had the same passion.
Yes.
Chris Morris, Ed Hervey, they have the passion. It's got to work. If it doesn't, we're going to just sit here and say, well, old boys club in the end. But if it works, we're going to be like, well, that's great because they brought back, they made the Eskimo way. And as Ed said, like, it's going to become the Elk way type thing, but you got to bring this stuff and transition it. but it's going to be based off of that. So I understand the fear, though, in this city of, well, just bringing back all the old boys, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But let's just see how this plays out. Because, again, when it comes to Ed, at the very least, he didn't build the winners necessarily in BC. Hamilton, I throw Hamilton away because
1 year, right?
one, there's just so many cooks in that kitchen because you still have Scott Milanovic who's in charge of things.
Right.
Orlando Steinauer is bumped up high, so he's got things. They have Scott Mitchell who became their president, but he's involved. Like it was by committee type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can't put a lot on Ed there because I don't know how much he was in control of things ultimately.
Yeah, accurate.
BC wasn't the bad. Like it didn't end up.
It didn't work out there. Yeah.
But now let's see if he could bring that back to Edmonton.
The funny thing, COVID and BC, it was COVID. There was the money stuff.
There was his issue with
things got weird
with Michael O'Reilly, money
Yes.
off, like things that there's a reason he had to walk away. Wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this one thing I noticed at the press conference last week that I kind of chuckled at was Ed was suited up, right? And Dahmer, everybody from the organization was suited up, but Chris Morris looked like he was busy working, and then he had to go and do a press conference as he was going to go back to work, so he just threw on a vest. And I was like, this guy is like taking no BS. He's doing shit. And oh yeah, I got to go do this press conference. Do we have a vest? Can I just wear a vest for this thing in my collared golf shirt? And that's the impression I got, because it seemed like it was just like, I got to go do this thing, talk to the media, and then I got to go back to work. That's the impression I got. I found it kind of funny. And I kind of got a kick out of it. Then the other thing is he's a mountain of a human being. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a monster.
He reminds me of Dusty a little bit. Like
A little bit,
I want
yeah.
to see those
Yeah.
two like interact and be together. It's just like two beasts of men.
Big dudes, yeah. So that just was one of the observations I made at that press conference, where I was like, Chris Morris looks like he's busy, and this press conference, which is vitally important, is inconveniencing him because he's got stuff to do. Yeah. That's kind of just the impression I got out of it.
Well, yeah, he's rolling up his sleeves and getting to work.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
And then the vibe, I'll finish with this way. The vibe around that office apparently is way up lately. After they moved on from Victor Klug, we heard some of that too. But now you're seeing and talking to friends that have worked there for a while. They're like, yeah, man, it feels good. Like, this is good. People talk to you. They want to hear from you. They're not just talking past you, you know. And Rick Lawlisher helped kind of get that back too.
Elks, I will get to the flyaway keyword right away here. After I bring this, the Elks have announced they added Jim Skitsko, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, as ambassador of amateur football. He served as the Sherwood Park Rams head coach for 24 years. It's a new position, this new ambassador of amateur football. As the ambassador, Skitsko will be tasked with building connections between the club and all levels of amateur football, facilitate the promotion of the Edmonton Elks Football Club through a model of community service, connect with stakeholders and partners like Football Alberta, and develop a strategy to best allocate 50-50 proceeds to support amateur football programs. So I know with the 50-50, there's changes that have to be done because the board, you know, going from community ownership to private, the 50-50s have to be done in a different way. But also going from community ownership to a private owner, I think the one fear a lot of people had was the connection to the community.
Yeah.
So having an ambassador to amateur football, I think, is a good way to continue and seems like connect with the community. And the franchise and the club doesn't want to do away with community. They still want to embrace community, even though they're not community owned. Wow. So that's maybe this is one of those steps to continue that and grow that. So solid move. I guarantee.
I think that's a solid move too,
when Jay comes in today and we ask, tell us about Jim, he'll have lots to say. He'll know Jim.
Well,
I'm guessing.
and yeah, you should probably get him on a show and talk to him. But I think that community, Jim Thompson is a smart man, and he is a community man and always has been in his business from everything I've read and heard. So he's gonna want that to be a huge part. And Chris Morris, I mean, that guy bleeds this community. So,
yeah, good point.
So there is
Torontonian. This is home.
Yeah, this is absolutely a good move, and just good. Nothing but good things are going to happen. I mean, how quickly it translates onto the field and success on the field is to be determined. But off the field, things are going to really.
Let's get a win in the first 3 weeks.
Yes, please.
I'll just say let's not see an 0-3 start to this season.
Yes, please.
Let's go minimum 1-2 to start the year. You know,
really,
well, give people something to celebrate.
How about 2-1?
Let's not get
baby.
crazy here, Murray. Let's
Guys,
be careful with the expectations.
they made progress this year, starting 0-9 2 years ago, and then just going 0-7. I mean, that's
Damn
a
right.
step in the right direction, right?
So 0-5.
I'm kidding.
Boy.
Also, I learned where Campbell was a Washington State University member. He was a Coug. Oh, if they ever hire Rick Campbell, I'm just going to talk Cougs with him.
Hey, now.
Let's get to the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA, proudly presented by the 780 homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780, both the shop name and in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. Work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 to help promote, get their brands off the ground. Check them out online, 780.com, or any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, or the Outlet Mall by the airport. It is the 4th last day to qualify. We're giving this away Monday morning. Flights, hotel, car rental. December 26th through the 30th. Edmonton, you're leaving here to go to LA.
Yeah.
Clippers, Warriors, Intuit Dome, Rams, Cards, SoFi Stadium, and either, they can't shut us down now. Oilers taking on the Kings or the Ducks. It's almost over. You get to go see that. Once again, when it comes to that, we'll wait to see when the Cards and Rams play. If they play the Saturday, you'll go see Oilers, Ducks. If they play on the Sunday, you'll see Oilers, Kings. All presented by or given to you by Edmonton Sports Talk and presented by the 780. The keyword for today, Draymond. Draymond, Draymond, as in Draymond Green. Too bad I didn't give this to Dusty. He loves Draymond Green.
He's a big Draymond guy.
Huge Draymond guy. You get to see the Golden State Warriors and the Clippers if you win this trip, and a chance to see as long as he's there. Draymond Green. So Draymond, 780-218-9999. That is the Paris Jewelers inbox. After today, 3 more chances to qualify, or 3 days of qualifying. That's 14 qualifying opportunities after this one. That's it. That's all that's left. Because Monday morning, Dusty, Eric, YouTube Trev, they're going to call someone. That person's going to LA. Well, they have to answer, though. That's part of it. If you don't answer, we're calling the next person. We're going until we get a winner and speaking them on the air. So on the 29th, if you've already qualified, keep that phone on the 29th. Sometime between 6 and 9 in the morning, they will do it. I don't know when they're going to do it, but they'll do it, and they'll just call someone until we get them. And they were giving away a trip to Los Angeles. So Draymond, 780-218-9999. The EST Flyway LA presented by the 780.
Somebody texted in, I think it was last week or maybe it was Saturday, and they're like, is this your number? And they sent the number in, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the station number. I couldn't tell you. I can't remember. I had to look it up.
We're calling.
Yeah.
We're calling.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what that number is. We don't accept calls on that end. We only give calls. It doesn't come up as Edmonton Sports Talk.
No.
If I get the landline going one of these days, that does say Edmonton Sports Talk.
Oh, yeah, Dusty brought that up this morning. It was funny. He's like, the landline's not going yet.
No, I'm having issues with that, and I can't do it during the shows. The only time I could do it is during the hangout, but I'm kind of busy, Dusty.
A little bit.
Sorry.
What would you do with a landline anyways here?
Instead of using a cell phone to call people, landlines are just a better connection, and we're having issues with the Bluetooth on the board. But the landlines, like there's like a hiss through our board or something, so I have to figure out what's going on there. Also, I want to, if that doesn't work, I got to figure out a different way for the phone, which the phone we have is, I think, a little too old, so I need to get a newer phone, but I haven't talked to Dusty about that expense yet, if we go that way.
He's been away for 33 days. You should have just gone and got one.
There's a few more things I slowly make purchases of, because we need to get some things. I got to actually start doing the first aid stuff.
Oh, yeah, we need
First
a
aid kit, fire extinguisher, and a sledgehammer. Those are my big 3.
Sledgehammer.
We don't have, it's one of these windows. On my end, on my windows, there's a little platform. Like there's the roof of the people next to us.
Yeah.
So if there's ever a fire and we couldn't get out, take the sledgehammer to the window, and then we can get out that way.
Okay.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Muster point.
Hey, Gager and I both like to burn candles in here.
You
So
do.
You got to be careful with the fires, Murray.
Well, as long as the candles have a nice smell to them.
Oh,
Get some
Gager
good
had the
Christmas
best one so far. He had this Stranger Things candle. I don't know why it was sponsored.
Stranger Things?
It's a TV
Great
show.
Oh.
Great show.
I've never seen it, but it was a huge Halloween costume a number of years ago.
Yeah, it's a
Everyone dressed
great
up as
show.
things from that.
Yeah.
It smelled just amazing.
Wow.
And I'm sad it's gone. I just at Bath Body or whatever the hell it's called. And for Christmas, they got some really good smelling candles, but they're expensive as heck.
They have good soap, hand soap.
Yes.
I like my mom always
Candles are like 30 some bucks.
Come on.
Well, we were.
But you could go online and like there's $16.50 or something like that. But I'm like, geez.
And then there's stuff you can put into like your plug-in.
Yes.
And then we were just there on Saturday, and my wife was getting us all decked out for Christmas stuff this weekend.
Apparently, sometime in early December they do a big sale on the candles. So I'm waiting for that to pick up some candles.
That one, hey.
You guys do burn candles. It's interesting.
They smell great.
They do
keep
smell
things
good.
smelling.
I don't mind them.
I'm always worried that our place isn't going to smell great.
It's going to smell like
Especially just
farts.
with all the testosterone around
there's
here.
that.
My goodness.
Yeah. That's
I don't like. We do a decent job
There's
cleaning. I know Jasmine's told me she's actually impressed at how clean it is compared to what she thought it would be. That we're cleaner than expected.
yeah.
So like, I don't. It's just nice when you come into something that smells nice.
That's true.
It's accurate. Very accurate.
You know. At times over the first year here, there's times I'd walk into the building like something smells a little off. Where we put our bottles, one point it smelled like a bottle depot in there.
It certainly did.
We never washed them out or anything like that.
them.
So
Maddie implemented that procedure, and it also has air fresheners in there too.
that's why you just need the candles every so often. Just light those, get that going, brings us all together because we all just love the smell.
Oh boy.
This place is turning into more than just. It's a clubhouse now. We have so many games going on.
I know.
We have 21. Like Reed has gone full rules into the game of 21 in our little basketball net.
Okay.
Crib board, chessboard, and I don't know if I heard Eric talk about, but we're maybe a crokinole board coming here at some point. We've got the
Lovely.
Super Nintendo.
No, Nintendo. Yeah.
We do want the
Old
Tecmo
school.
machine
Yeah.
and stuff at some point. We still need to get that one. All while we're doing our work.
And we have a beer fridge that's always stocked.
Yes, it is always. A couple of times when on Sunday mornings doing my golf show here, and I'm like, geez, I'm really thirsty. I don't have any water. I go to the fridge to try to get some water. It's like, no, there's no water in the fridge. There's no room for water. It's all beer.
Yeah, water stays on the side.
Yeah,
it stays
yeah,
room
yeah.
temperature.
There's a nice cold one, though, waiting for you.
Well, no, thank you.
I know.
But my goodness, you don't have room like maybe just in the door, a couple of bottles of water. No,
We could think about that.
no water space, just all beer.
Well, it just got filled out by beer first.
And Gager gets in there, too.
And then or like Troy will come.
Yeah.
And then they put some other in there to replenish, and they don't think like. We should probably have just like a one little water shelf that's just water.
Exactly. Just this shelf is
But-
water only.
I don't know. It's a fine temperature, room temperature. Does the job.
Colder water is
Oh,
nice, though.
yeah, cold.
I agree with Mary.
Nice, very cold water is like so delicious to drink.
Well, I have water in my fridge.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he's got his
I got
fridge.
my own
Yeah.
fridge.
Oh, you have your own fridge.
I have my own fridge in my office.
Jeez,
He's
I
been
didn't know that.
laminating, too. Have you been laminating?
I haven't laminated yet.
Oh, you've
I
been
just
cutting.
started the cards. I just dealt
yeah.
with printer stuff, and now I'm starting to cut. And then laminations, some of that's starting today.
So are people
that's very
allowed to go scam water out of your fridge, or is
No,
that
it's my
like-
fridge.
Yeah, well, see,
a
that's what
personal
I'm wondering.
office
It's a
fridge.
personal
So
office.
it's for
fridge.
my office.
Okay, so
You probably
I
got,
can't
like-
go in there and steal water from your fridge. Then I can't.
Well,
do
you
that.
could. It's just like if I'm not around, I wouldn't really fully know.
What do you got in there? Like sandwich meats?
No, actually, I don't have any foods right now. I do have a big bottle of Birdie Booze still to
Nice.
bring out that we could drink.
Yeah.
I did grab some of the Alley Cat Cherries beers.
Oh.
which I love in there, and I bought some Celsius energy drinks. Those energy drinks.
Okay.
What
So
do
those
you
are
do
my-
for lunch here? Do you bring lunch from home, or
I don't eat lunch. I'm a 1 meal a day guy.
one
for the most part.
meal a day?
Yeah. I don't eat breakfast. I used to do lunch at the old place, but then there got to a point where I just stopped. And like partly it was always weird because I was on the air from 12 to 2. So it was like right in the time of lunch, I'm on the air. So it's hard to eat. And then I eat an earlier dinner. So it's like 4:35 I'll actually eat. And that's like
And
my
you
meal.
never get hungry.
I snack a lot at night. I can snack a lot.
So you
but
basically
for the most
eat
part, I
from
could
4 p.m. until bedtime, and you don't. Boy, that's so unhealthy.
No,
Yep.
I'm good. Why is that unhealthy?
Oh boy.
Is your
It's
mom?
that intermittent fasting type thing too. I think it works out to be that. I don't do that because of that, but I'm not hungry, so I will eat later tonight, and then I'll be good.
But snacking right up till bedtime.
Well, I gotta, and that's where I've always have to be careful with what I'm snacking.
Yeah.
Hey, every time I go to the doctor and they do blood work or whatever, it all comes back healthy.
How big is the meal you have at supper time?
I could eat.
And how much protein are you getting?
Well, it depends.
Are we having a steak every night?
No. I don't know. Yeah. I could eat. I could pound it back. I could go toe to toe with most people. I think.
He's doing the 9, 9, and 9. Or no, what was it?
I like that sweater.
Thank you.
Is that new?
I like your hoodie. No, it's old. It's actually.
Those pants are tight.
Yeah, these are toit as well.
Tight pants.
Chris G calling me saying I have an unhealthy diet. I'm good.
Yeah,
I've gone to the doctor many times. I do have to go back to.
Very unhealthy.
Oh, thank Mitchie R. Candle Day should be this Saturday.
Why?
They are usually $11.99 on that day.
Oh,
$11.99 on that day. She says usually.
Like it.
Is that for the 3 wicks? I hope so. $11.99. That's good. I'm actually. Well, I'll have to do that before. I have a boys' night at the mall, but I don't want to carry a bunch of candles at the
Boys' night at the
mall?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have the weirdest. Boys'
I'll
nights
explain it
that-
to you after off the air.
Okay.
No, they were absolutely amazing. No, there's no shopping. I can tell you that right now. There's no shopping.
Is it frolicking?
We just do things. We've got the EST Flyaway to LA keyword. Was Draymond. Who do I have on the line as our qualifier here on the Hangout?
It's Dean. How are you?
Dean, I am great. Congratulations. Is this Dean in Clairview?
It actually is.
It is Dean in Clairview.
Oh,
awesome. Are you worried about Ed Hervey and Rick Campbell being a little bit too much from the past?
No, not at all. I just brought it up for conversation.
No, that's fair. I just wanted to get in and get your thoughts there. Well, congratulations. You're in the mix for this trip to Los Angeles. If you win, who would you take with you?
Well, I'm a free agent, so I'll probably have a raffle off with the boys.
Oh, I like that. Don't do the raffle off. Do the full bribery. Like, they all have to present to you like the best offers and take the best one for yourself. If you do win, what would you be most excited about doing? Is it going to the NFL game, NHL game, or the NBA game?
That'd be an NFL game.
Perfect. Well, congratulations, Dean in Clairview. Keep your phone on Friday morning, because on the morning show, the boys will be doing the grand prize draw. If your name is chosen, you got to answer, but the boys will give you a call, let you know they're off to Los Angeles. Best of luck. Congrats.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Dean in Clairview, our latest qualifier. As I said earlier, 14 more chances to qualify. The next one, EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager.
Okay, so you're going to be frolicking at the mall. Congrats to Dean in Clairview.
Yeah, Lieutenant Eric in the Nasty Chat says men's night, Maddie. So, like, I guess, yeah, we're boys' night at the mall. We go just drinking in the mall.
Oh, okay.
And we walk around, just stopping at different places to drink.
Oh, okay. Any road pops in like a Diet Coke cup with a bunch of booze in the Diet Coke?
Not in the mall.
No, you don't.
No, but when we walk from the house to the mall, there'll be a drink probably, and then there's in the mall. We'll start like. This is where we learned about Power Hour at Hudson's.
Power Hour,
because we did
yeah.
boys' night at the mall years ago, and there was Power Hour at Hudson's from 10 to we're at Hudson's and you got to come back from 10 o'clock because we got Power Hour. Like, what's Power Hour? And it was cheap drinks and stuff like that. So we're like, okay, so we went drinking around the mall, and then we came back for Power Hour.
This is at West Ed.
Yeah.
Is this where you discovered the lounge at the Fantasyland Hotel, which apparently
level 1?
It's good.
L1.
It's great.
Good.
Yeah,
There's no one ever there.
About it?
I don't think I was.
Or was it
telling you, but
Eric?
It's classy and fancy. I like.
There's
it.
no one there.
Yeah, there's anyone ever there.
It's great though. It's a great little spot. They make a good old fashioned there.
I love a good old
And
fashioned.
L2 upstairs, the restaurant. I don't know if they still do it. I haven't eaten there for a while, but they used to make the Caesar salad right at your table.
Yeah.
Ew, I love that.
It's a nice touch, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, when you get that, and you're like, oh, neat.
So yeah, that's a good spot. I know they've changed it a lot. Over the years, so I haven't eaten there for a while. But boy, that's a good spot. I like it.
You guys are gonna
It's a fun night.
bouncing around.
I'm just not going to go buy a bunch of candles and walk around with candles. So I got to do it earlier if it's Candle Day.
Alicia texted in about that actually.
About Candle Day?
She said Black Friday this Friday. Good luck at the mall.
Ooh.
Yeah,
the
but if
text
Candle Day's not till Saturday, I'm worried about.
Okay.
And I could just drive to Kingsway to get it at Kingsway.
But
that's busy.
Like last Monday when I was on, you had this suit and steak day
That's
Yeah, Soup and
hilarious.
Steak Night with Ryan
yeah,
with Whale and the Wolf. It was wonderful.
yeah. You just have all these cool days.
We had that was a double date day because I had the date with Jay
Right.
at Refinery Grill. And
Where you were holding hands.
And then I had the night date with Ryan. And Ryan won't be here on Boys Night this week. So good thing I had that one.
Yeah.
So now with the other boys, we'll go and have West Ed Night.
Yes.
Boys Night West Ed. We haven't done that since last year. Did we do it this year at all?
Who goes
It might
on
have been
that
last
one?
year.
Eric?
Eric's been there. Luke. Ursh has come on it.
Ursh.
Ryan. Just. Oh, you know what? They might have been last year. This weekend. Last year, I think. Because I remember being at Eric's place. We haven't done it since. Must not have. Because Luke is a Washington Huskies fan. And I'm a Washington State Cougars fan. And they were playing the Apple Cup last year. And it was a game that was really tight to the very last play. It was a great football game. Unfortunately, the Huskies beat the Cougs. And we were watching that at Eric's place before we headed off. What? Cousin Mike. Was Cousin Mike? Well, he was there he wasn't there last year though. Oh. Was he? I don't know. Or was it a couple years ago? Or Cousin Mike too. Cousin Mike's Rymai's cousin, who we all call Cousin Mike.
Cousin Mike.
So that's boys' night.
That sounds not bad.
The mall
actually.
is wonderful once it closes. Once all the stores close down and it's just Bourbon Street and a couple of other things. Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street.
It's an interesting spot. I will just say that.
We will be there on Friday for the Utah Hockey Club versus Edmonton Oilers matchup. Pre and post game show. Hudson's Bourbon Street. And then we are at Boston Pizza Westgate on Saturday. It's going to be great. Join us.
Thank you, Mitchie R. She said she'll let me know about the Wicks for sure.
Nice.
I'm very, very intrigued by this. The portions of this hour of the EST Hangout, they are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk, promotional products that bring a buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. We're live on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, YouTube, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Also, thanks to those listening on the podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Tom Gazzola, Murray, McCourt, Matt Iwanyk with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Reminder coming up at 11, it is Block Shop, Dusty and Huss. At noon, Oil Stream, Tommy and Dusty.
Whoa.
We've got EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager, and then the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne from 3 to 6.
That's so awesome.
3 to 6?
Well,
or being on till
just
6?
being on all day. I mean, it took a year to get there, and when you got there, you knocked it out of the park. It's awesome.
It is good programming.
It is. Love it.
Actually, the only thing missing right now is the VIP golf show. But I was thinking about this on Saturday because the Hockey Edmonton show led into Hello Hockey, which then we get the Pipeline show, and then we had the pre and post game show. So even like a Saturday, Murray had good content, fresh content. And then the other day, I was listening on my way home. I was driving around. Reed and Jay finished up, and it went right into Crush Performance. And I was like, damn.
Actually, yes. Reminder, let me double check this. I don't want to say something that is going to get me in trouble. So again, let me look for this text here. Yes, okay, here it is. If you listen to the Crush Performance, which is Wednesdays at 6 right here in Edmonton Sports Talk, unless we have Oil Stream pregame show, which is only now like once a month for the rest of the season on a Wednesday. It will move till after pregame show. But if you listen to Crush Performance, it's 6 o'clock on Wednesdays on our audio stream, which is TuneIn, iHeart, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Crush has given away 2 Marmot lift passes every week this season to people that listen right on EST. So you got to listen to Crush on EST, and you have a chance to win 2 lift tickets to Marmot Basin. So every Wednesday, tune in 6 o'clock. And you got a chance to get 2 tickets to Marmot Basin.
It's just like back in the day at 1260 when you just leave the dial on there. You can do that now here. It's easy.
You're always able to do that here.
Yeah.
We've done that the entire
since the launch.
Yeah.
But now
that's
less
always
repeats.
been important to Dusty and I and stuff is when we're doing this was that it's to be a radio station.
Yeah.
You need content 24/7.
we've always
we've
had.
done that the entire. Some of it's been replays. There's less
That's what I
replays
meant.
now. Yeah.
There's less replays now.
Less
It's more
replays
fresh.
now.
Way more fresh content because we're 6 to 6, and then plus we've got our weekend show. You've got our weekend show during the summer months. So lots of good stuff on here.
Absolutely.
I want to get to Road Warriors, which is brought to you by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers, custom manufacturing of heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas equipment, highway transportation, trusted by the leaders in the heavy transport industry. Get on the road with peace of mind for your large loads. Check them out, accusteel.ca. In the NHL, it is Prime Night. What's on Prime tonight? I think it's the Flames. Flames Senators. I know they're playing today. I think that's the prime game.
That's a big game.
With the Flames in Ottawa. Red Wings on the road against the Islanders. Jets taking on the Wild. Ducks home to the Kraken. Kings taking on the Sharks. Hurricanes home to the Stars. It's a busy Monday night.
It is.
Flyers hosting the
Holy.
Golden Knights. Rangers taking on the Blues. Devils Predators. Panthers Capitals. Lightning Avalanche. Mondays aren't usually this busy.
Well, yesterday was just one game, though.
So, but like outside of Amazon Prime, is there any other like hockey on? Like, can you watch any other game in Canada? I don't think you can. Well, because it's a national night, and so Prime owns that now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't like unless you have a package, you can't watch any of these other games in Canada, possibly, unless you're in like a certain region. Interesting. In the National Football League, you've got the Baltimore Ravens on the road out in LA taking on the Chargers. It's the Harbaugh Bowl,
that's
the
a good
third
game.
ever Harbaugh Bowl. 7-4 Ravens, 7-3 Chargers. You could also join Lieutenant Eric at Century Casino for that game, just off of Fort Road. Loaded Burger is the special. And is there any like college ball or anything today?
Shouldn't be on a Monday.
We don't know, but they are. But we're getting to that college time, like the end of the year, where sometimes they start adding a little bit more. The only other thing, any big game in the NBA tonight? What's the biggest game? Raptors are on the road against the Pistons. Celtics Clippers. That could be a fun one.
Well, Porzingis is coming back tonight for his first game of the year.
Nuggets Knicks. 14-3. Those Celtics. Those Celtics.
With no Porzingis yet. Yeah.
Raps having
one
a great
one of the
season.
losses was to Atlanta, who's terrible. In that silly NBA in-season tournament, Celtics lost
Democrats
to
NBA Cup.
Yeah, that's the
NBA Cup.
one.
Yeah, Celtics
The
lost
Lakers-
to Atlanta of all teams in the NBA Cup.
Well, the Lakers are the only team ever to not lose a game in the NBA Cup so far.
Yeah, they haven't
Between
lost
last
this
year and this year, they have not
boy.
lost a game in the NBA Cup.
What's their record right now in the regular season?
What is it? It's not bad. Like they're above 500.
Oh, okay.
They're 10-6, 2 games back of top spot in the West, because Golden State and OKC are both 12-4, which 10-6 would put them in the same spot out east, 4th out there as well. So they're in a decent spot. I think last year they started the exact same too. I think they were about 10-6 to start the season. Things fell apart a little bit there, so they just got to make sure they don't have those struggles. It was like post NBA Cup struggles. Once you win that title, you get it's the hangover.
Yeah,
the NBA Cup hangover. We've always seen it. Everyone knows about that.
It was so silly watching them raise a banner mid-season like that. I found it bizarre.
Yeah.
That's the NBA wanted it. The
Yeah,
NBA forced
I
them
remember you saying that, and it's just like
because they initially weren't going to do it. Well, you want a title, you want a trophy.
Well, yeah.
You got
it
to.
doesn't feel right, you know.
But it's different. We got to evolve. We got to change.
Yeah,
I'm not really into it either, but every time I turn on the TV, it's like, what the hell is this silly floor for? Oh, it's that in-season tournament.
The courts are neat. They
are
look
neat,
like
yeah.
old Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Raptors is so good.
Raptors court.
Yeah, for the cup.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that the Raptors are so good. I'm like, pardon?
No,
They are not that good. Nope.
They aren't good. I won't. I'm not that crazy.
stink.
I'm crazy, but not that crazy, Murray. There's one thing I want to talk to that I've had you on a little bit. We haven't gone there yet,
Okay.
but now I will.
All right. What is it?
You went to Toronto. You went to Calgary for
Ottawa.
Ottawa. Sorry, last year was Toronto. Or if I
Last
got
year
that
was
wrong.
Toronto, yeah.
Which is like the merch convention. Or what is?
Yeah, I was at 2 different golf buying shows.
That's what they are.
In Ottawa was the BPG show. That's a buying group that we're part of at the ranch that, probably maybe 30 courses in Alberta are part of. They don't just take anybody. You have to, there's a lot of criteria to get involved with the
You have to be
BPG.
good.
Yes.
You gotta be good.
And so myself and Sean went out to Ottawa for that show, and it was it was a really good show. There's some things, and then the Alberta show is in Calgary every year, and we take a big entourage down there. There were 6 of us that went down there, and I just rent a big Airbnb for that, and so we had a snooker table,
Cool.
and
Nice.
darts and a hot tub and all that. And so I would always go to bed by at 9 o'clock and say, okay, there you go. You guys have your fun. I'm going to bed. See you in the morning. But yeah, these shows are awesome. Is where we basically go and buy all the merchandise that we sell in the pro shop for next year.
And how are things looking for next year?
I've done this for a long, long, long time. So typically after buys, I'm just like, I think we did okay or whatever. Like nothing too crazy. But this year I actually was like, man, I think we knocked it out of the park a little bit. We got a couple of new lines of menswear that we're adding, a new line of ladies wear that we're adding, and just what some of the companies have that they offer, were tweaked a little bit. That just had me like, I really like the lineup of stuff, and your buddy Rolo Golf. We're
Yeah,
back in the
that's
game
Jesse's.
with them again, and because they always do a good job of those wild and wacky shirts that I'd never wear in a million years.
Yeah.
But TaylorMade's making a couple changes to a little bit of their product line, which is kind of exciting.
Like clothing wise? You're talking or overall?
TaylorMade doesn't have clothing.
They don't have clothing?
No.
I guess you're right.
They used to be...
Callaway does.
Callaway does, yeah. And TaylorMade used to be owned together with Adidas, so Adidas was their clothing line, but that split a number of years ago. You will see some TaylorMade clothing. I mean, I shouldn't say they have none.
This isn't just clothing that these buying things. It's
clubs, bags, balls, gloves, shoes, everything. Yeah.
I asked you about the QI10, and you said that's gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, 1 year.
1 year.
And it got good reviews.
It did, but now this new one, I heard what it's called, but I don't want to say it because and it's not really officially launched yet.
So it's embargoed kind of thing.
So I probably shouldn't anyways, but the technology behind it, I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, you always wonder, how can they keep improving stuff? But I mean, man, they have people, research and development departments, that's what they do. So, man, last year's drive, the QI10 was really darn good.
Yeah.
And what they're tweaking to it is like, whoa, I like the sounds of this.
The carbon fiber face is here to stay is essentially what we're learning, right?
Yeah, I would say that's probably accurate for now until they determine
next thing.
something's better. But yeah, there's so much. So they're officially launching all the new stuff. It'll be at the TaylorMade Performance Center in December and really kick off in January with fittings for it all and stuff like that. So, it's just going to be an exciting year again because it does feel like there's some new stuff. And like this brand of shirt that I'm wearing, we knocked it out of the park this year, and I'm even going to forget what it's called right now because I'm not really in golf mode, but is
this new stuff?
Yeah,
or is
we
this...
got it last year.
Oh yeah, it still has the crease from out of the bag.
Out of the bag.
That's a good feeling.
There's a logo right there.
I could Google that.
What the heck it's called? But it's more expensive, and it's but the quality is so. Johnny O. The quality is so outstanding. You just touch the golf shirt, it's like, oh my God. But they're not cheap. But the quality of the clothing is so good that I flipped a lot of my closet to Johnny O. Shirts because it's so good. But
Golf stuff has evolved, like you said. Is there a lot more like hoodies and joggers?
Oh, yeah, like this is Johnny O.
I love the hoodie for some reason.
It's like this is kind of like California surfboardy type of vibe.
But you see it on the course now,
Absolutely.
and it's golf apparel.
Yeah, which it's great to see the sport evolving.
Yeah.
And make it not so stuffy, right?
Yes. I even saw, I think it was like Tiger clips from like 03 or 04, and he had baggy slacks.
The baggy clothing.
Yeah, and the shoes
I love the old school look of that.
They weren't sneaker type. They were still like the old dress shoe spike, soft spike kind of style. And I'm like, it reminded me. I'm like, it's really evolved in the last little while, which is great. And it still looks good, even though it's more of the athleisure motif, I guess, or like you said, material.
Yeah.
It's gone in a good way.
I'm going to tell you, you mentioned that of something that this hasn't really been announced yet either, so they might be mad at me for saying this, but maybe I won't say the name of the company, but there's a company that is bringing out retro clothing.
No boy.
And it's very limited who's allowed to have it. I think there's only 12 courses in Alberta that are allowed to carry it, and we're one of them. And it's clothes that, if you look back at golf in the 80s, this is what the clothes is.
Really?
I mean,
I feel like I'm seeing vests.
Yeah.
But I have one. I got one from
some funky pants with patterns.
Hopefully they're not baggy though.
And it's super cool. Like I really, when I saw it and got to touch it and feel it, I'm like,
Retro's in.
this is going to work.
Interesting.
This is going to sell. And so I'm really excited about it, and I'm really excited that at the ranch we're one of, I believe it's 12 courses in Alberta that are allowed to carry it, and they have some shoes, retro shoes that are like it is really cool.
Neat.
Yeah. So
Do you guys put your ranch logo? You guys have a pretty cool logo.
we do.
But do you put the logo on all the merch?
No, not much at all.
Okay.
Actually, yes, we have a super cool logo, and we have it on some stuff. So if you want to, have our logo, we do a lot of hoodies with it on, and more casual wear hats and things like that. So you can buy ranch stuff, and if you want to support our brand and show off our brand. But when it comes to like golf shirts and some other things, it's not necessarily kosher to wear logoed stuff to the office and things like that. And so if you're gonna buy a golf shirt or spend good money on a golf shirt, if I'm buying it, I want to be able to wear it anywhere.
Right.
And so we don't really logo any golf shirts per se.
No, that makes sense. I know some courses do that. And you're like, yeah.
Private clubs especially.
Private ones
But
for
even
sure.
still, like if I was running a private club, I wouldn't logo everything because yes, you're proud of the club that you're part of and everything. But if you're gonna spend that good money on like even a button-up shirt, why do I need the golf course logo on that? Because it makes it so I don't want to wear it in certain scenarios.
I need to get a ranch bag towel. You guys have those, right?
Oh, yeah,
I should get one.
And we're getting you fit for the driver. It's happening.
Yes, we're doing it.
Yes.
Get off my wallet, as
Get
you
off
say.
your, I know.
I
It's,
need the CFL schedule to get released so we can start planning the EST Classic.
Yes.
I got the
Oh,
email
is that
from
what
you.
you're waiting for? Yes, you
That's,
do have
that's
the
what I'm
email.
waiting for. I need to see the CFL schedule so I could see what I plan around Dusty's schedule a little bit. Make sure that the date that we'd kind of have from last year or something could still work
can
or
work,
something.
yeah.
So I'm...
When does the CFL schedule?
They've usually launched at the beginning of December.
Okay.
Now, like it used to be not till the new year, but they got smart and started doing the like in December for whatever reason, which is perfect because people then could look and almost plan their plan the upcoming year.
Yeah.
Just trying to see if I can quickly find when they released it last year.
What a day that was, though. Hey, it was so fun.
That was
December 14th they released it last year.
December 14th.
So
good.
mid-December. Hopefully they do it a little bit sooner. 2023. When do they announce
gotta
that
get
one? If I
that
can.
date dialed in.
That's the thing.
Murray, you're getting questions via the inbox, Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Let's go to Dave the Welder in the meantime. Murray, did you attend the annual Superintendent Golf Conference in Canmore last week? I went one year and I did a welding demo for the mechanics. It was a great conference. Really enjoyed it. Well run.
I was not at that last week. I was at last week. I was in Calgary for the National Golf Course Owners Association conference. So that's where I was last week, and that was also a fabulous conference. Had a absolutely wonderful week in Calgary, and learned a lot. It was a really solid conference.
Big
I want to
Maple.
go to conferences.
Oh, you would go to conference.
I think that'd be
I find them
fun.
overwhelming.
I'd want to go to, like, there's just nothing really. There was an engineers type conference that was in town, but I was off and I didn't feel like going. And I'm not really
should
like
go
a
to
full
NAB.
radio engineering. A what?
North American Broadcasters Conference in Vegas. I went there one year.
I should look
My
into
boss
that.
took me when I was with Oilers
Charge
TV.
that
I'm
back
like,
to the
why am I
company.
here? Yeah.
I know. It's just like, I don't know. The idea, like, it sounds like a lot of fun going to a conference. I don't get to go to conferences.
Here's one thing that each conferences, like the PGA of Alberta does a conference in March every year. It's in Edmonton, and it's great. It's good. I like it. But they said, here's the lineup, and this is what you're learning. Mm-hmm. Okay, but like an example for me is I retired from teaching golf like 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. So if they have an instructor there that's teaching you how to teach lessons and things like that, why do
It's
I
not
need to
useful for you.
sit there and listen to that for 3 hours? Where at this conference they had many different breakout sessions where they had like 4 different options. So they had some like keynotes were all together, and then you could learn about this, or this in this period of time. Pick the one you want, and they had different rooms you could go to. And I love that because then you can make the learning about what's relevant to you
Right.
and what you want to go to. So that was, for me, that's what really stood out about it being good, because I could go to the sessions that I wanted to go to.
Who was that? Big Maple, Big Uke.
Big Maple has one. This one's conference related, but different. Big Maple says, was Murray at the exhibition to remember in Calgary? The year was 2000. Chichi Rodriguez and Fred Couples were there. Just wondering if he has or had any stories about Chichi. Backstory, I saw someone was selling a framed picture on Marketplace autographed by Chi-Chi, Couples, and a few other pros who were there. And we all know Chi-Chi was a character. Well, when your name is Chi-Chi.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember what that was. That was during the golf season, though. So during the golf season,
You're busy.
I'm busy, so I
Yeah.
don't really get away too terribly much. But I'm trying to think what that was. I feel like that might have been the Shaw Charity Classic, the senior tour event that
I love
may
that
be
event.
referring to, but which goes on every year. But I'm not
Now, the
really sure
Rogers
what he's referring to.
Charity Classic as of this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
This past year.
That it's a huge event and it raises so much money for charity in Calgary and Alberta. It's, a fabulous event for sure.
I haven't been there in a few years. There's can't get out there because I have other things on that weekend that they moved to now. But it's great watching the old golfers growing
Yeah.
up. Growing up watching all the like VJ and Els and Mike Weir and going to watch them, John Daly, and then seeing them in person. It's awesome. That's a fun event. If you're a golf person, try to get to the Rogers Classic once at least in the summer in Calgary. It's a great time.
How easy would it be to play on the seniors tour? Like, it's just
Almost impossible.
but just like how comfortable that tour would be.
Oh, for them?
Yeah.
Once you can get on it, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
well,
oh my
it's
God.
3 rounds. They don't do 4. There's no cut.
There's money, they're traveling,
yeah.
probably drinking.
Yard is a little less.
I'm sure, yeah.
They go to great locations.
Yeah.
So I'm good friends with the head pro at Canyon Meadows, where that tournament always has been, Matt Freeman. And I had him on my show this year during the term to kind of talk about it a little bit and some of his experiences. But one of the coolest experiences, I think it was 2 years ago, he caddied in the tournament for John Daly.
Wicked.
Wow.
Like, what a crazy cool experience that would be to sit there and caddy for John Daly oh boy, the things you would hear and see, it's just unbelievable memories you'd have.
For those boys, the 18th hole, it's a par 5. It's makeable in 2 to get on the green.
Okay.
It is, but there's like a water and a creek in front. That if the wind is involved one day, they'd have to lay up. But if there is no real wind or whatever, on that last day, with them trying to watching the scoreboard and the last few groups coming in and they're trying to, there's strokes to be had.
Yeah,
if you
there
can
is.
get there in 2, it's great just sitting around 18 for that last round and watching.
That's
that
cool.
I remember I played there probably 3 or 4 years ago now, and they were setting up for the tournament, and I went for the green in 2.
Yeah.
Tugged it just a little bit left,
Okay.
and they didn't have them up yet, but if
Where the
my
bleachers
ball would
would've
have been
been?
in the bleachers.
Well, then you would have got free relief.
Well, exactly.
Then you would have got the free relief.
And maybe made a birdie.
That's where the pros get lucky.
Yeah,
they get the free
exactly.
relief from
Free
all that
relief
stuff.
from the bleachers,
Like,
yeah.
our ball's just going further. It's just going to keep rolling. They hit something and stops, and they get the relief from it all. That's why they're pros, and we struggle. If I was
Mary's
a
a
pro, we'd
pro?
do great. Well, like PGA pro.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Gotcha.
If I had bleachers, I'd be a better golfer.
Well, exactly.
Bounce it off the bleachers.
And
Absolutely.
you also had thousands of people watching you play and trample down the
was-
rough, so the rough is a little easier to hit out.
But at the same time, if I had thousands of people standing by me, I would Caitlin Clark that
Did
ball
she
and
crush-
almost destroy someone.
Oh boy, yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh no. Well, there's that one clip of that lady. It's like from the early '90s, late '80s, where she hit the same lady twice.
Oh,
And it's an older lady sitting down, and she goes, "Tell her to stop."
Enough. I tap out.
Yeah.
That's the only fear about 18 if they're going for it in 2. It's hard to watch that ball from a distance. And you just have to pay attention. Then sometimes you just hear somebody duck and everyone's
yeah.
and then the ball's not even close to you. Oh, I miss going to that.
I miss
awesome.
playing golf. I mean, it's now that we got all this snow and cold,
I know.
I'm like, oh,
I can't believe November's almost over.
Month today is Christmas.
isn't that
Yeah.
something.
the hell?
Today is Christmas. Plus,
boy.
month today, then, well, less than a month from now, then we hit the winter solstice, which means the darkest day of the year. But it's all going to get better from there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's all getting better. That's going to be it for the Hangout today. Boys, this was fun. This was fun. This is a great way to start a week always. I love
This
the
actually felt like it was just like a legitimate hangout. We're just sitting around shooting. We should have had a drink in our hands, I think, today. Or maybe you guys do.
I thought no,
I
the
did.
coffee. He's got
I
the
did.
velvet cream.
It's Christmas
going.
spirit.
Yeah.
I was
I have the
thinking about
Christmas
that.
spirit.
I was thinking about that because remember last year you brought in the bottle of wine during that Christmas week. It was a
Yeah.
very
Yes!
festive week.
Oh, I got to
Yeah.
remember that.
That's coming up. Like
Yeah.
it's you're right. It's starting to get that feel a little bit. We're almost there.
I'll have to remember that the last show that I'm on before Christmas.
Because you're not here on the
Epic rant.
23rd.
No, not the 23rd. So then
I'm off
that'll
that whole
be-
week, right?
Yeah, because you booked the 23rd off, I think.
booked
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I got it.
Tomorrow and Thursday this week, you're off.
December-
There's one other day in December that you had. The
Something.
23rd and the 30th, I think it was.
Yeah, something like those
Those two.
December 16th is my last hangout. I will bring wine.
Let's go.
On
You had a
December
great rant
16th,
last
baby.
Yeah,
year.
and I couldn't drink the alcohol because I had the surgery the next day, so I wasn't allowed this
you
year.
weren't allowed.
I'll join you, Mark.
Let's
this
go.
year.
All right, good.
I will join.
I'll bring a good bottle of red.
Coming up next, Lock Shop, Dusty, Huss, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, followed by the Oil Stream with Tommy and Dusty. EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show, all here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangout on this Monday. On behalf of Tommy Murray, I'm Matt. Thanks for listening. And like I said, Lock Shop in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
All right.
Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,